Welcome back. We've got a market sentiment list pulled up here, and we're looking at AMC that did hit a bit of a high today. But we can see it's at the top of the LRC channel and at the top of one of our resistance lines. And we've got our supply and demand zones up on our chart. And we've got that mixed with some other supply and demand signals. Now these two studies I think you can get over at usethinkscript.com. So we're going to use them together. Just to look at a few things. Let's go out to the weekly here. And we can see that's likely to maybe go a little sideways before it gets into an area where it can pop up. Let's go to the daily just to see. We can see the daily here. This might be, a fake out. It might pop right above there and then drop right back on down. That could happen. It could take a trend kind of like this, or even sideways, before it's able to take a pop. But who knows there? Alright, now let's take a look at one of our other lists. And we've got AMC, PFE, AMD, NowV, and Apple. Seems to be some of the most popular ones. Okay. And we've got Cyber Cycles Oscillator and the, crossovers plotting here, but they don't have to be useful this time around. We can get rid of them. And we've got our standard deviation and our standard error plotted into the same script lower study here with the money flow crossover. So we can go in and change that crossover. We have it set to below, but we can go above. Okay. Now we see where we get the money flow crossovers, that the money is going into a stock, not coming out. Or maybe we want both triggers, so let's see if we can find those. Let's see, money flow, there's those money flow triggers. And we'll hit apply, hit OK. Alright. And we still, as you can see, it's in the rough here. So we change a few things. And change it over to Boolean. And a down arrow at high, or you can do a wedge, or whatever your style. Alright. Now we have both arrows. Now we know when money's coming in and going out in the retail space. I'm not so sure this is going to work well. Alright, so there's our money flow triggers here. And we can add those to our standard deviations there. It's a very simple little piece. So we'll copy that. And hit OK, apply. Now we have to do the same thing, go in and change it again. Not that one, we have to change it where we put it. Alright. hopefully it doesn't mess with it too much. And it did. Alright. So we may have to go in and code everything out. That might not be the solution we were looking for. That's alright. We'll just leave the stuff there so we can come back to it. We'll hash it out. Invisible. You can't see me. And hit apply. And it has gone away. But it is still there. So we have these. And so we can just take one and overlay it. And that works too. Make sure it's on the bottom. Alright. See if you put it on the top. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. That's what happens for let's see if that is relevant on a smaller chart. Yeah, doesn't matter in this case. That's awesome. Alright, cool. Sometimes that matters. Alright, so we see these supply and demand zones where people might be buying and where people might be selling. Alright, and let's go and look at something like Tesla. That's a biggin. Alright, and we don't need our alerts set here, but it's okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to zoom in like this. And we can see the LRC is still kind of drifting off, so I do have a price range where I think it's going to fall to. That doesn't mean it will. Okay. But we can see it got way up out of hand and needed to be kind of pushed back down. So on the daily here, we see on the daily there were two signals for the money flow that really, you know, in and out, that took care of things. Yeah, this was probably a retail market maker, you know, ish kind of move. No, yeah, I mean, we saw on the daily it was still kind of trending up, but now on the 4-hour chart, let's take a look at how that looked. All right. Now we can see we had multiple signals on the way down providing, you know, liquidity in and out. All right, taking control of this area, okay, and providing a clear signal short. Now we've got our money flow here and our money flow index. So that's where we get some of our triggers from, you know. You know, you'll notice some of them happen when they drop below or cross above particular signals. But you could use this, you know, money flow index as kind of an RSI or percent R or percent B possibly to do overbought and oversold. Okay, now Pfizer here. Now Pfizer, it was stuck around the $38 level for a while, but now it looks like it's finally riding this middle on an uptrend. Oh, at the 161 I see. Look at it. How about that? And it's interesting how things tend to always just extend out to the 161, you know, as they do. Very interesting. Okay. We get our money flow, you know, trigger signals here, you know, below and then back above. You know, seems that that signal happens quickly. Probably so it's not caught. And we see it looks like they lost control here. And it ran. A little bit of control gained again, and then it ran. And then looks like they're trying to take control again. right, let's see what other lists we can go take a look at. The 4-way STC is always a good one to check out. And our new super trend is always a good one to check out here. So we check out those super trenders. And we get some of these. These are ones that would have just switched over to bullish or, be looking to make bullish moves. But it seems that right when it switches over to super trend, we do get a pullback, as we're seeing here, and we'll probably expect a bump in that price. I'd be watching it. This one looks a little overextended, but still on its way down. And I'm not really impressed by this up here. But maybe that's, oh man, nothing but short. But these are some interesting signals here. Yes, they are. Okay. But just because they've went into super trend doesn't mean that they are going to be bullish for very long. Okay. And let's check parabolic SARS. Our new percent B. That had a good bit on it. There we go. So many of them are coming above that percent B 0 line. So that's a good thing. They could be going for their new trend. Doesn't mean it'll be, an uptrend, but it's going for it. Let's check a Vortex 4-way. I see Etsy on there. That's why we're doing, I'm seeing lots of Etsy options going on right now. Very good. We can see here we get our standard deviation and standard error. They shoot way up, and if you're lucky, you'll catch it and be able to take part of the move. Looks like car, Nike, AVGO. Okay. And we need to find a way to shore up this list a little bit more. I see. Let's check a zigzag. Zigzag trend, very useful. And I do have a zigzag video. You should go check that out. All right. See, that's kind of neat. This looks a lot cleaner. This doesn't look horrible. We can look at this and kind of see something. And down here at the bottom, it looks like it's plotting, maybe even the current trend. We'll have to look in the code and see if that's what it's doing, or just see why that's down there. Or that might be where the lines are. But this does seem to be right in track with its downward trend. And there are a couple stops along the way that would allow it to bounce in between on its way back up past this new high. For Bio D6. BJ's, COL. Let's check out some of the pullbacks. See, that looks good. That's on its way up. That's on a nice bounce. So this Deutsche Bank, DB, actually, I know the Deutsche Bank. I know who that is. That's That's a good bank there. Let's check out the daily. Okay, I don't really like it there, though. On the 4-hour, it's good. On the daily, we could come back down here. And let's check the weekly. And on the weekly, on the weekly, it doesn't look terrible. So we might see just a little bit pull back down into some area. I'd be surprised if it dips down here, but it could into this. So, but I would expect this to take a nice trend upwards. Depending on how, of course, they're doing, and they're leveraged in many of their situations, but I would say DB is probably something that I would like to watch myself. So, like I say, it's probably going to go down in the short term, but it is definitely going up in the long term. So in the short term would be the time to start looking for your dip opportunity. Yes, and we see that has kind of already happened. Here was your opportunity. All right, and now we're kind of, so really we need to come back down probably into this area here around the 1238, it looks like, for us to really be picking this up for a good deal. So, but that might not even happen. We might only get down here to the 40s or right in here. So I'm going to set a mark, create a little alert, and I want to know when it's at or below 1240, 1238. Because I can see what's going on here, okay? This isn't, I'd really prefer to pick it up right here. We're under. But that's okay. Das Deutsche Bank. I'll wait for a good opportunity. I realize one was just missed. Okay. But we do have a deviation that's cooling off, so wait for that to cool off. All right, AXTA, what do we got? Axalta Coating Systems. See also more cooling off. Not really. Bright Sphere Invest. Yeah, I'm not totally digging it. What's this? Crestwood Equity Partners. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not jiving on this at all. Looks like we're probably going to come down into this area or even fall through this area. I mean, it's got control. I wouldn't mess with that one. I wouldn't mess with that one. Oh, goodness. Bandwidth? Why? Just why? That's actually kind of, I mean, look at it right here, okay? So we might see an interesting move here, but I'm going to even just take a quick, I think a quick snapper of that. And boom. You look at supply and demand. There's a problem here. There we go. There's too much color on this one. But you go out to the daily. Oh, man. That's quite interesting. All right, here we go. That looks a little better, but check that out there. I mean, so it's interesting to see the different areas and zones, okay? So we can expect to see this to possibly even fall into this zone here, right along this area before we might even see a bounce again. All right. Let's check out some other things, but that is based on this, we're looking at a zigzag list right now. There's a 52 weekly low, but on the workhorse, on the daily, okay. And we can see workhorse here. Workhorse and Ride, they hit some interesting lows, so they may even be, down there at their, areas where we should be looking to possibly start picking them up again. Here's where they really started to take off, and some big retail whales came in. And as long as those retail whales haven't really sold out yet, then hopefully it holds the price up within this region, gives us the ability to buy. And when we get a good earnings report, we'll crash into earnings and have a nice on, pop on afterwards. Quadruple U too, buddy. Energy fuels. All right. Now, see, this just got way out of hand for the supply and the demand, okay? And they just let it run. They're like, let it go. Whatever. Okay. I mean, somebody, somewhere jumped in and took a little control, but it's interesting to see where these levels are. And I'm sure many of them are close to Fibonacci levels. It might be good for a bounce. WPG, Washington Prime Group. Okay, so we can see once this does make a move, it should settle in somewhere. Now let's go and look at the got you. Oh, okay. We can see where, after it starts making its moves, where it will settle into. We can see that it's stuck within an area here, but really needs to get up into here. Then it's got some thickness to get through here, but here's where it's going to trade sideways for a while once it gets back up into there. So we need to be watching this for when they cover and it makes that move. So be prepared for the earnings and be watching. This one could be the rocket ship. And not just this one, but the Chinese education stocks in general. Should everything go well. I mean, that's just what I'm predicting. Don't quote me. Let's see. Let's look at that DOYU and see what their chart looks like on the same time frame. I mean, the upside isn't the same, but then it's a little more broken through here. But I'd like to think that the Chinese education stocks will do well once the pandemic is over. Let's see, this one keeps coming up on my lists. TAST. Okay. I mean, I can see here why it, it had this nice bounce there right after, earnings. We're coming into a 41-cent dividend. Interesting. Is that only a yearly dividend then? Or is that a incentivizing dividend? When is it? 8/24? Interesting. We are at a bit of a dip now. You think we could get in on this dip and get in 41 cents? So $3.94, 41 cents. Okay. So that's not terrible. Yeah, that would give you a share price, $4 and some change. After you got paid your dividend, of course. So you hold until your dividend, and then you jump out, up some money. That really doesn't seem too bad. I may have to sit down and do some maths on that and see how many maths we have to, how many monies we need to put in there to see some kind of realistic profit. 50 bucks, $100, anything like that. Something that's worth doing. Okay. Vizelle. All right. And look at that just sitting just right there. So let's look for a bounce on that line. Okay. And it seems like they do sometimes travel outside of these LRC zones. So, well under, travels up, push back. Quick down, pop back above, price runs. All right. All right, GDRX, GRTS, and Lou. What's a Lou? Good RX, Gritstone. Now this is kind of a perfect example of buying pressure over selling pressure. All right, these are the people that bought. This is the amount that sold, and the indifference are the bag holders. I should shut up. Okay, Lufax holding. Yeah, I don't even really like the way that this looks on the weekly. That doesn't look good to me at all. I mean, it's hitting a low, and it does have a nice space to trade sideways in to collect more shares before it moves up. But these big zones here bother me. They're good for sideways trading, though. Yeah, it just seems to be getting pushed back already. Alright, let's check our accumulation and swing index, and this is NIU. It's up $2 today. It kind of looks the same. Alright. And we want to check out money flow entries too, but we'll check out this Momo LBR. This gives us 3 that we've seen before, and this new one, VRPX. Oh wow, look at it go. So it must have had a piece of news or something that set it off. Virapax Pharma. I wasn't on this one today, obviously. Okay, but look at it go. And if you were using the money flow signals and indicators, you would have caught it. On the 30-minute time frame, you'd have been in there. In the 15-minute time frame, you'd have been in there. You'd be good. You'd still be in there. You'd be in the money. All right, 5-minute. Let's see what would have happened. 5-minute, boom, you was in there. All right, in there at 424, and you'd be riding that high. All right. So it's just up to you to set your entries and whenever your exits are, okay? So let's say if this was your entry, you might choose an exit when we finally broke below, an oversold level, overbought level. You'd have to choose which, one you wanted to use. That way you could get the top of the pullback or the height of the pullback. Typically, you might want to get out somewhere around the top of the pullback and buy back in at the bottom of the pullback for the next, trend up. But that's, nobody's perfect. Po body's nerfect. Okay, and let's check out some gamma and some runners. Lots of gamma. We're not even going to look at that. I skipped those money flow entries, didn't I? So we'll go back to them. Let's see, money flow. We want money flow really more on the daily or 4 hour. So let's see what money flowing in on the daily. We've got AM and IG. Now, when we see money flowing in on the day, that means that this is big retail buying big positions, all right? And that's a good thing, all right? Now, because we're looking at supply and demand, and we're looking at, this is the TI. Let me just pull that up there, the supply-demand zones, okay? And then there's a TI supply and demand edge that you can get, and they're combined together in those studies. And then we're going to add the money flow, triggers in that study as well, but we still need to go in and code them Boolean and, so they're dynamically set with some color and some pizzazz. All right. But that's the idea, isn't it? To see where big retail is buying. So big retail wants something to do with AM and IG, all right? Now, IG did hit a low, so we can see and understand why they're buying it up. But when they buy it up in such high quantities, okay, it causes these spikes, all right? And we notice them, so we have to wait. And as you can see, it's resting on this line here. We'll probably see a nice little popper tomorrow. It very well might be possible, okay? But that's only a 5-minute chart, and we've still got a little bit to go for the rest of the day. As you can see, this little bounce here, and there's my trend line, and we do have what? A green little, I did not know that was there. This was done live, so very good. Fun stuff. All right, but we are still hitting our lows, and we can see where we're trying to provide liquidity at. All right, and the zone of which that will probably bounce back to. All right, keep that in mind. And how much is above it that's holding it down, that's important as well. So are we going to continue to crash into this particular area? I'm going to say probably. But we do have reactions like this that happen a lot. Yeah, they happen a lot. All right, so this IG has potential, and it looks like I've charted it out before. It does have trend lines that extend way out up into the sunshine. So these are possible 10Xers if you play them right. You just have to watch and wait for those moves to happen. It's not necessarily finding the right entry. Once it starts moving up, you kind of just got in there, get in there, and it shouldn't fluctuate too much if it's in a good uptrend. That's what the stop losses are for. This is an interesting thing here. Why is it being let to go, so far up? We can see the little candle wicks on these. There's multiple opportunities for them to try to shake you out of your position, so there's no real way of knowing that you've bought the exact low. It seems like a position might fluctuate, 5, 10 cents, $1 or more. And that just seems to be the way the market works. Nothing is completely certain. That's interesting. Lots of shorts there. The Orion group. Looks like this is going to come back down. But many daily hammers, huh? It's got the hammer on the day. And for the 4 hour, we can see where we're having some big money coming into stocks. That seems to be kind of capped out there. Looks like this one might get to keep on going up too. Doesn't really seem like anybody has any interest in shorting it. Kind of seems like the market knows better. Weird how the way that happens, huh? Oh, I was wrong. They absolutely don't know better. How about that? So with that, I'll end the video, and make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.